I've got a long history in motorsport going back to the mid-90s. This has been my career ever since. World Rally Championship was first and foremost before joining Powermaxed 4 years ago, where we started this from scratch as a race side. The process for product testing, we get given a range of products from purchasing, then we distribute that to the guys downstairs. They trial the various products and then report back with their feedback on. So the products need to be easy to use from our perspective. They need to do what they say they do and not leave any residue or any greasy stains in terms of brake cleaners and things like that. Silicon's a bone of contention. We like it from a presentation point of view, because it makes the cars look great, but from a body shop perspective, when the cars have to be repainted, they really don't like it. We race 10 race weekends a year. There's a lot of damage included in that, so there's a lot of paintwork goes on. Product development for me in here was developing the brake cleaner. The Powermaxed brake cleaner when we arrived was around, but we've changed the formula so much to make it do what we want to do. Brake cleaner's a big market, and within motorsport it's used for more than just cleaning brakes. It's used all the time, so it needs to be right. But it's been developed to be better than what's seen as the market leader in that area. For racing side, we can't take the whole range of products with us, so we need to use a glass cleaner or a brake cleaner that they do multitask. But when you've got all the bugs and things like that on the car as well, you know, we'll use the glass cleaner for cleaning everything, and it has been developed to do what we want, remove the bugs. But feedback that I get from people not involved in it that have used the glass cleaner, they do say it is great.
Really, I could give them all the spiel in the world about how good the product is and everything like that, but if they don't have any faith in the product, it's not really going to work. For that reason, we will send them free samples, so they can use the products themselves and they can actually see how good they are. That way, the customers will sort of have a bit more confidence to sell it, and they can, you know, sort of portray that to their customers a bit better, and their customers could have a bit more faith. A lot of people have heard of the range. It's very, very big within the industry now, so you know, Steel Seal, Powermaxed, it's very well known, so it's not a difficult sell, if you like. Well, I mean, it's easy enough to put the products into the stores. One big point is actually our sell-through. We really pride ourselves on it, so we'll actually come in and do a bit of product training with the staff, garage workouts, obviously support with promotions and things like that, and just really get it selling. We don't really have a main target area, if you like. We really target motor factors. Motor factors are the biggest part of our business. Obviously mobile validators, things like that, they come as a side product of that. So it's actually a part of the process of our money back guarantee, which we have across all the products, is we'll get in direct contact with the customer, and we'll ask where they think we can improve. A lot of that we'll take on board. We'll go and sort of put it out on our social media and to our stockists and see if it's something viable for us to change. As you know, a lot of the time it's just personal sort of preference, and it's not something that's possible, but sometimes we can tweak the products from there. And again, on social media, that's a big place that we gather feedback. Yeah, no, of course, it's always welcome. You know, we're a very new brand, essentially. If you look at some of the other brands in the industry, it's always developing, and every year it's getting better and better, so it's not perfected yet. That's why feedback's really important.
Yeah, we recently just did Automotive in Frankfurt. I've had a huge amount of interest right across Europe. Our main focus at the moment will be on America. Obviously we don't have the language issues, so we can go straight in there with our current labelling. Also, they seem to love the product. It sort of does exactly what it says on the tin, the big, bold and brash, everything they love. It's colourful, sit great on their shelves. So yeah, America will be our main focus, but we're kind of open to any market that's out there really. We're so confident in the brand that we don't expect to have many claims on the money back guarantee, obviously, but it's something we like to put on there to have the confidence for the customer. Wherever you go, it's like I say, it's integral to the brand. It's something we want on there, and we will honour it for all time. Yeah, one of the ways we like to work in countries that don't predominantly speak English is to actually work very closely with a distributor that's from the country, speaks the language, and he's in the automotive trade already, so he has the contacts, he knows who to speak to, and then really for us it's about getting him behind the brand. So we help him with the marketing, we make him feel confident. He'll already be confident with the products because he will have tried them, and that's how we've met. And then we just support him with as much marketing. We might go over and do a show with them, and help them push in that country, but it's a local in their country at the end of the day, and that really helps us, having someone who's in that trade in their own country.
Powermaxed works in association with the Professional Valeters and Detailers Association, so it's a network of approved valeters essentially, and ultimately if they approve the product, then that's good enough for us. They're professionals, they're using the products day in, day out, and once we have their approval and we've had their feedback and we've developed the product accordingly, we're pretty confident that the product does its job. The association hasn't tested every single product extensively, but I know that their network has used our products across the entire range, are happy with the products. We've had certain bits of feedback on, for example, our Tsunami Wax, which about a year ago there was a publication including our Tsunami Wax which said it was quite difficult to actually get out of the pot. We were able to rectify that. The feedback's now a lot better. Further to that, they have put certain products under more rigorous testing. So again, Tsunami Wax would be a prime example. They recently have undertaken certain episodes that they conduct on YouTube, and one from a few months ago included testing over 50 waxes on a couple of panels of bodywork, and the test involved spraying them with acid and alkalines of varying pH levels and varying concentrations, and ultimately the Tsunami Wax was already rated second best in terms of gloss, but the resilience to the acid and alkaline test was really good. It was still beading after right at the very end of the test, whereas a lot of more expensive waxes had actually fallen short, so it was actually classed as realistically the best all-rounder. Your average user of valeting and detailing products will be likely to have lower standards than a professional. It's not necessarily true in all instances, but a professional is using the products day in, day out. They want quicker results, they want the product to be as easy to use as possible, whereas someone that's cleaning their car every other Sunday perhaps has got a bit more time to spend on it. That's why we tend to find that if we have the approval of professionals, we're very confident that the everyday end user is going to be very happy with the product. Monsoon is an introductory wax. Is designed for a first time wax. Someone that's never ever waxed their vehicle before would be very happy with Monsoon and the results that it delivers. Tsunami sits right on the other end of the scale. It's bordering on a professional level wax. It's semi-ceramic and it provides really impressive results. It's high gloss, it is incredibly resilient to weathering and all sorts, and can last for over 6 months at a time. So you've got two different ends of the scale for two different markets. We're always looking at research development. We recently conducted a survey in which ceramic was one of the ceramic waxes was a very it was very high on the list in terms of what our customers want. We recognise there's a lot of competition out there, but as we're very good at blowing competition out of the water, we're pretty confident that we'll be able to succeed there. So as I say, we work in conjunction with a race team, which is a very unique research and development platform that enables us to make sure that our products definitely are the best and can perform in real life environments and extreme environments at that. So there's definitely room for expansion in the range. We do more than just valeting and detailing, so our efforts are concentrated elsewhere at certain times of the year in terms of what the market needs. But that knowledge can always be transposed back to valeting and detailing, because ultimately a brake cleaner that works really well on our race car, the knowledge that we accrue through developing that can be transposed back to valeting and detailing. You'll notice a lot of similar values from the Steel Seal brand across to the Powermaxed brand. So as a company, we began with Steel Seal. It has certain attributes that you'll notice across the Powermaxed range, such as it works and it does the job very well. But you'll also notice that there's a money-back guarantee, because we recognise that, like how there might be just damage that's too severe to a head gasket, there might also be a detailing issue that our products just simply cannot tackle, because it might be something that needs industrial grade materials on it, or something that our market doesn't necessarily need as a priority. And essentially we develop our products with a money back guarantee in order to help us continue to develop them further. Tar Off is a product that's been developed to dissolve bitumen and tar and glue residues and things like that. Essentially, it's not safe for use on plastics, whereas Iron Off is. That's a prime difference between the two. So, for example, with Tar Off, we don't recommend that you spray it directly to the vehicle if you've got plastic trims, because the product is that powerful it will eat through it. You'll notice it has a different trigger spray, because our normal trigger sprays with Tar Off were being eaten from the inside, and that was compromising the ability to use the product. So Tar Off is designed to be sprayed either onto the vehicle or onto a microfiber cloth, held over tar, glue residues, decal stickers residues, anything like that, so that it can be easily wiped away, and also means that any grit that's been held within that sticky stuff is able to be moved away without causing any damage to the paintwork. Iron Off is different in that it's got an active product in it. It's an active product that was developed in order to react specifically with iron, and essentially catalyses the rusting process, so it breaks down iron, which creates a bleeding effect that a few other suppliers, brands have developed similar products. We pride ourselves on our Iron Off because we believe we've got the viscosity just right to a semi-gel kind of consistency. That means that the product doesn't just pour off the wheels straight away, it sticks around long enough to utilise as much of the active product as possible, covering as much of the surface area of the wheel or the bodywork as possible. We did develop it to be safe for use on bodywork and vinyl wraps as well, because of our association with our race team. And that means that it makes for a very, very easy decontamination process. It saves time over alternatives such as using clay bars, though we do still recommend, if you were going to do a full job on a car, to use both Iron Off and clay bars just to make the job easier for yourself. With our two polishes, the ultra finishing polish contains PTFE, which results in a very slippery, smooth surface. It can be used to reduce the appearance of scratches and swirls to a certain extent by essentially filling them in. But it's not necessarily if that's a particular problem with the paintwork that you were looking to fix, that is not the product that is our go-to recommendation. It can work, but if you were to have scratches and swirl marks on your paint, we'd be looking at recommending our Deep Clean polish, which has recently been renamed to Scratch and Swirl Remover for ease of understanding on the customer's part. Essentially, that one is micro abrasive, so it's not as harsh as something like a T-cut or a G3, but it does mean that it's very safe for use. Even for someone's first time using machine polisher, it is safe for use, providing obviously the machine polisher is a suitable one for a beginner as well. and it's a very easy product to use that, particularly on your darker colours, makes for very, very quick disappearance of scratches and swirls. Our ultra finishing polish I tend to recommend for, well, the best results will always be on blue, black, red, because you can really notice a depth to the colour that you get from using ultra finishing polish, and part of that is the PTFE. You'll also notice that with both of our polishes there is no white dust when using it, which is quite refreshing compared to other polishes that I know I've used in the past. So we have 3 sealants: summer jacket, winter coat, and just a bodywork sealant. The bodywork sealant is an all-rounder. I personally use it because I don't always seal my car and it can stay in the garage and it's good all year round. It also tends to stick better to the wheels, so if you were going to use a wheel sealant, then that's a good all-rounder. The other 2, summer jacket is developed to be UV resistant, so particularly if you have an older red vehicle like the old MX-5s or something like that are prone to fading, maybe you've managed to stop it from fading so far but you want to get it out a bit more, we'd recommend the summer jacket for something like that, because it has UV inhibitors within it that essentially protect the paintwork from being faded. It also is particularly good at repelling sap and bugs that you tend to obviously struggle with more in the summer than in the winter. On the other hand, we've got winter coat, which, aside from smelling different, winter coat is designed to inhibit saltwater corrosion and to repel against grit and sand. So the 2 differ in that. We use the summer jackets on the race cars because the race season goes on throughout the summer from April to September. It's great at allowing us to easily get the bugs off at the end of a race, and means that, and because it's got gloss enhancers in it just like a wax, that does mean that you end up with a nice shinier finish, which our sponsors tend to be happier with because it increases the visibility of their logos and the depth of the colour. Whereby we're trying out different channels. We've not only got to market to the end user but also to our stockists as well, because although we do have a retail site, that's not the crux of our business. It's about selling through to Johnny B's Car Care and others, to ensure that the end user can go collect the product on a Sunday morning because they feel like washing the car that day and being pleased with the results that they get. So from my point of view, it's about finding out what channels we can reach that end user by, but also speaking with our stockists to ensure that, because ultimately they know their customer base very well, finding out what we can do to help increase footfall into their stores and increase web activity, and recording everything as we go along, so that if something is not working as well as it should do, then we can drop it and move on to something that is going to provide better results. Also, from my perspective, marketing isn't about shouting at people and telling them about your product when they don't want to listen. From my point of view, marketing shouldn't even be something that people necessarily notice. It should be something that they're pleased to see, rather than, oh, not another advert about this. It should be, that's useful. And fortunately, we've got technology recently that allows us to do that. So, for example, social media allows you to target based on interests and certain demographics, meaning that we can put an advert out to people who have already established in some way towards Facebook or Twitter that they are interested in valeting and detailing. Therefore, an advert about our products is not going to be unwelcome. And that also means that that's more effective for us. We know we're talking to the right people, and that's really important for us.
Always been interested in cars, and obviously we sell already into the automotive marketplace. I think the biggest driver really for Powermaxed was that I was constantly frustrated by buying products that claim to do something and didn't actually do it. It wouldn't be right to name some of the products that I've used by the companies that make them. But yeah, the amount of times I'd buy a car care product, or even other products that weren't car care from main high street sort of retailers, making very bold claims and never ever living up to it. So, you know, we developed Steel Seal in the automotive aftermarket. Our customers were asking for other products. We did a lot of research into other brands that were out there that we might be able to distribute, maybe coming in from America or other countries. And they always missed something. So it would be, they'd either have fantastic packaging and not very good product inside, or they would have good product and not very good packaging, or they wouldn't be REACH compliant. So it quickly became apparent it was easier to start from scratch and build what we wanted to build and make sure that the products were the quality that we were happy with. And all of the Powermaxed products come with a money back guarantee, and I don't even think we've had anybody claim, let alone actually for us to need to pay out. So it's the money back guarantee is actually a very subjective thing. It's simply, if you don't believe that it's lived up to your expectations, just let us know and we'll give you your money back. And even still, people don't try and claim. So I think that's a strong testament to what we've created with the brand. For me personally, the valeting and detailing products, I love my cars. I love driving my car. I love powerful cars of all shapes and sizes. But I am not somebody that wants to spend hours and hours cleaning them. You know, there are people out there that would almost prefer to spend their entire weekend in the garage cleaning and detailing their car. I would prefer to spend 20 minutes, half an hour, have the car look absolutely fantastic, and spend the rest of the weekend driving it somewhere and back. So for me, it was about creating products that quite literally could take an amateur like me when it comes to cleaning and detailing, and give professional results in a very, very short space of time. So yeah, it was very much about having very, very effective products that like your pre-washes, basically, to, you know, simple spray on, you know, a bucket and sponge, and then a quick detailer. Car looks absolutely fantastic, and then I can go out and enjoy driving a good looking car. Really that was probably, that's why I started there. I think the quality certainly helps. So the fact that we've looking at brands out there, I think there's a lot of, if you asked the general public to name a car care brand, there's probably only one that most people could name, and most people would then even struggle to name a second, and certainly not a third or a fourth. But there are actually, you know, there seems to be hundreds, if not thousands, of brands competing over the bottom end of the market on price. There's very little at the top end of the market. So by focusing on quality meant that when somebody used it through word of mouth, that we grew very quickly. We, unlike a lot of other brands out there, we're very happy to give our products away as samples. So we gave out thousands of samples, and then the biggest driver behind that is our involvement with motorsport, and BTCC in particular. So the British Touring Car Championship, we, as a separate company, but we're involved in and the ownership of. We own the team that operates the Vauxhall British touring cars, and obviously they've a very, very loyal fan base, 50,000 fans at each round, 10 rounds a year, so over 400,000 plus millions of people watching on the telly, and that's really allowed us to sort of activate the brand and put the brand literally in front of millions of people over the last 4 years. Yeah, and touching on the product itself, how we've had such great success, I think there's also certain brands out there that they kind of look at what the market's actually charging and then price around where the market's charging. I think we've decided that we want this to be accessible to everyone. You know, cleaning and detailing a car is a good form of exercise. It helps you, you know, feel proud of the things that you've got. It's your car. You've worked hard to pay for it. You should be able to look after it. And we have a model of pricing that is standard across all products. So obviously we've got the cost to actually manufacture it and all of the parts that go into it. We need a certain part to cover the staff and the overhead of the business. We need an element to cover the products that we give away, the samples and the marketing. And then, of course, we need a profit, because that's what businesses are for. But that's a set amount. So when we make a product, we just apply that percentage to the product and we go out to market. And we don't really look at what's actually out there. So, we have found there might be examples where we've priced a product that goes out for maybe a polish or a wax or something like that that's sort of $29.99, and then when it's actually out in the market, we look and see other products that it's actually comparable to, and they might be fetching 70, 80, 90 pounds. Now, that doesn't mean that they're 40, 50 pounds better than our product. It just means they're making 40 or 50 pounds more money. And that's not what we're about. We want it to be. Of course, all of us. We've got mortgages to pay. We've got bills to pay. But it's about the morals and the integrity of the people in the business and behind the product and the brand itself. We just want to be the best we can be. Do the right thing. We care about our customers and the vehicles that our products look after. So yeah, that's another driving factor. But the downside of that is some people assume that our product's not as good as it actually is because of the price, which that's also a factor for offering the money back guarantee. Don't believe us? Try it. And it's not even the stockists that have to give the money back. If a stockist sells the product to their customer, should there be a problem with it, the customer comes straight back to us and we refund the customer directly. Therefore, if the stockist has sold something for £30, they still keep that £30 in their till, and we pay that back to the customer. And that would actually cost us more money, because, as you can appreciate, the stockist is actually making some money out of selling you the product. So, we would be selling it for less than we would be giving it back. But because we're so committed to the quality, we never even get people asking for their money back, let alone refunding it. Plans for the future. Obviously, I would love Powermaxed to become recognised as a household name. Most people will have a tin of WD-40 in their house. They will have one either in their garage, their shed, their kitchen drawer, wherever these things may be kept. Unlike WD-40, unfortunately, they have these tins and never ever use the thing. It's kind of there just in case. I would like the Powermaxed brand to be the usable version of that. So, and through our range of products, we've started with the valeting and detailing. We now do we do glues and adhesives. We do polishes, waxes. There's a whole range of additives for your vehicles, for oil and fuel, and basically, I want people to have the trust in the Powermaxed name that should they then go be looking, I don't know what the future may hold, but it could be as extreme as they're going into a store and they're looking for something that unblocks drains, and because it's got a Powermaxed name on it, they know that anything they've had from the Powermaxed brand before has done what it said it would do, so they have a great deal of confidence in picking that brand for the first time off the shelf. So that's where I believe that we can get to. There's certainly, there's hundreds of countries that we can actually operate in. So again, it's about going through translating labels and transferring this into different marketplaces. I'm 38 years of age, 3 kids, married. I've been in business, feels like kind of all my life. I've grown up, luckily, I think, with it's a kind of blessing and a curse, with an entrepreneurial father. So, even back at school, it was, buying cans of Coke from cash and carry and selling them on the football fields, and kind of finding ways to kind of earn money to be able to do the things that I wanted to do. That really is the interesting and the exciting side of running a business. The bit, I think, talking to a younger self, I have always been in a rush to kind of get to the end, get to the success, to have all of the stereotypes of success, I suppose, in terms of the house, the car, the swimming pool, and all these sorts of things. But that isn't nobody really gets rich overnight unless you win the lottery. It's about actually playing the long game, and I believe that if you used a bit of an analogy in terms of like a band becoming successful, you know, those ones that go on X Factor and become successful overnight, they also disappear in the same amount of time. Whereas if you're a band and you've travelled and played every single club and dive and everything possible in the UK for a period of time, and you've built your fan base up, when you actually become successful, you've got so many people out there to buy your records and to continue buying your records, and these are the people that become the U2s and the Oasis and things like this, and they stand the test of time. And I think that you can take a lot of that into business, really. And you know, I'm looking at building a business that will benefit generations of my family. You know, I've got 3 kids. I want it to benefit them. I want it to benefit their kids. I want to create kind of generational wealth, and therefore, you know, why would I look to try and build that over a year? I'm looking to build that over 20, 30 years. You know, we've been in business now as a limited company for about 10 years. And you know, many of my customers have been there from the first year, so all we're doing is selling more products to our existing customers and expanding on those relationships. So it would be, you know, don't rush. There's times where I've needed to borrow money because we're trying to do it quickly, but then that brings a lot of other stresses. So again, you know, going back to the product, us being very competitive on price means that it is tougher for us because we have to manage the finances way more carefully, and it brings a lot more pressures. It would probably be easier in the short term if we charged much higher prices for our products and made more profit. But because I want to, you know, the way I kind of looked at it is that in, you know, hundreds of years' time, you know, when I'm certainly dead and buried and well gone, I would love the thought of a great grandchild saying, "Oh, Powermaxed, my great granddad started that," and that's, you know, that's the kind of that's the kind of approach I think to building successful businesses is, and that's the way I would recommend somebody approached it.